Hi, boys and girls. It's Miss McDonough here, and it's time for art. Yay! What we are going to be doing this week, since it's fall and you're seeing them all over the place, we are going to do a pumpkin. But we're not going to do like a Halloween pumpkin or anything boring like that. We are going to do a work of art. Our pumpkin today is based off of an artist called Yayoi Kusama. Yayoi Kusama. And she is a very, very cool woman who she's still alive today. She's still doing art. And she is 91 years old. She was born in 1929. And she is a Japanese, what they call pop artist, okay? She does pop art. So it's not just like pretty landscapes and, flowers and things like that. So when she was young, her mother downed her about the art and everything. She was not recognized in Japan. She wrote a letter, actually, to Georgia O'Keeffe. And most of you probably don't know about her yet. We haven't talked about her in classes yet, but we will. And she's famous for flowers and different things like that and landscapes. And yeah, don't get upset, boys, because she didn't do just flowers. She did some really awesome landscapes with like cattle skulls and with flowers next to them to kind of represent life and death in the desert. And she did some beautiful landscapes, but she's really well known for her flowers. But anyways, Georgia O'Keeffe encouraged her to come to the U.S. And sure enough, the U.S. just embraced her during, like the 70s, 60s, and 70s. And she did pop art like Andy Warhol, who is another artist that you may not know, but I'm sure we will talk about later on. He did like Campbell's soup cans and Marilyn Monroe, where you see her in like different colors and stuff. So she's had her own exhibits, and there was a picture I saw of George Clooney, and like her exhibits are like the whole thing is the art. It's hard to explain. She does sculptures and paintings and different things, but her exhibits are just phenomenal. And when George Clooney did one, George Clooney is a famous actor. I'm sure mom or somebody, grandma knows him. He had on a black suit with white polka dots, and the whole exhibit was black with white polka dots. So you weren't really sure what exactly was the artwork and what was just background or whatever. But it was really cool. Anyways, one of the things Yayoi loves is pumpkins. And to this day, she is living in a nursing home in Japan now, and there are staff members that take her across to her studio, and she works every day on her artwork from 9 in the morning till 6 o'clock at night, and she never draws it out. She just starts painting or whatever she's doing it with. One of her favorite things to do was pumpkins. And I put a link for a YouTube video of her reading a poem, because she also does poems. And so she's done lots and lots of pumpkins. And one of her favorite things is polka dots and lines and patterns. So here is the example that I did. And it's not exactly like hers, but it's based off of her artwork. So by the end of this lesson, now I did put your learning goals on there, okay? You can use art, you can use patterns in your artwork. You can use shapes, geometric shapes. Remember geometric shapes like squares and circles and triangles to make your artwork, okay? Lines, different kinds of lines to make your artwork. Contrast, because we are going to make our lines with pencil. I'm going to do mine in marker, but then you're going to go over yours with either a black marker or a black crayon, okay? So we'll have contrast. So that pumpkin's really going to stand out. You see how I did mine, and I did my dots and my important things there with the black, okay, to color them in with black. And that's what Yayo does. So at the end, after this lesson, next week, you won't have a drawing lesson. You're going to write a reflection, and you're going to tell me some things about Yayo, okay? I'm going to ask some questions, and you'll just be answering them. But you will finish this, okay, and then turn it in. Whoops, sorry. And then turn it in through Schoology, okay? Next week is the end of the 9 weeks. Can you believe it? 9 weeks already is over. So it will be the end of the 9 weeks. I know that some of you are going to be going back to school, but if you haven't got all your lessons done, you may end up with an F, okay? I never fail somebody who tries. You will not fail if you have turned in work, okay? It doesn't have to be perfect. Do your very best. You still have time to turn it in. So you won't have an F on your report card. And I'm not talking about your midterm. I'm talking about, or your interim. I'm talking about your report card. That's where it's going to show. So if you've not done any work so far, you still got time to make it up. I don't take off points for being late. I just want you to do it, okay? And enjoy it. And you will, if you allow yourself, you will enjoy it. So we're going to get started. We're going to make this pumpkin. I'm going to show you the easiest way to make this pumpkin, because we also, in this pumpkin, believe it or not, have symmetry, okay? Both sides are the same. They're both different in what I've drawn, but their sizing and everything is the same. And I'm going to show you how I did that. So let's get started. I'm going to turn this around here. Okay, so the first thing you are going to do is take your paper and hold it portrait style. That's up and down like a hot dog, right? I'm going to fold it in half like a hot dog bun, I should say, right? Okay, just like that. So now I'm holding it like this. I'm going to use my black marker to draw so you can see it, because whenever I've tried to do it in pencil, nobody can see it. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to make just a little line out here, down here a little bit, and then I'm going to go like this. Whew, that was hard, huh? No, it wasn't. Okay, so now I'm going to come from the corner of that, and I'm going to make a curved line all the way down to here. Okay, I got a thing underneath here, so it made it bump, because this is thin paper I'm using. And then you're going to do another curved line, come right back there. And then I'm going to do another curved line, whoops, and come right back here. Okay, do you see that? Almost looks like I put two bananas close together or something there, huh? Now, if I take my paper, because I did it on a thin piece of paper, and I turn it over and I fold it again the other way, okay? I'm just gonna fold it back. I can see through my paper. Can you see that a little bit? Now I am going to go ahead and trace what I did. So this way, both sides are going to be the same. I can see my lines that I put here. And I am just going to trace right over them. Okay, so I'm using up a good amount of my paper. This is not like a tiny little pumpkin, okay? And now I can see through it on this side. Can you see that? See, I can see right through it. So now I am going to trace over that part, okay? Trace over it here. Okay. Tracing over the lines that I see. And there you go. And there I have my pumpkin. Now, if you want to make more, more designs or something, you can put a line straight up the middle. That is entirely up to you. On this one, I left it and I put this here instead, this design. But if you want to do some other design, that's okay. I want to see some polka dots in there, okay? So here's what I did. I just put circles, okay? Circles down here. All right, and then I put half circles on the side. Can you see that? Put half circles on the sides. Okay. Can you imagine doing this kind of thing every day? And she does pieces that are like bigger than walls. I mean, they're humongous. And she never draws them out. She just darts right in painting and doing what she does. And then I'm going to color these in black, and she's 91 years old. I mean, that's pretty old, guys. So, okay. So I'm not going to finish coloring this in right now. I'm just showing you a design, okay? And now I'm going to use some of my lines. So here I may want to do a big zigzag. Remember zigzag? A zigzag is a line of movement, right? It is not a calm line, okay? Because it shows movement, and it's got points on it. Remember, it's like pointy. It looks like it's sharp, right? And then go back, put some more dots maybe in between here. Okay. Now I'm giving you ideas. You do not have to do it exactly like mine, okay? It's okay for you to be creative on yours, all right? And then over here, I think I'll do some curly lines. Okay. Curly lines. So we have active lines, we have calm lines. Curly lines are active also. Calm lines would be like our curved lines like this, or wavy lines, because, you know, we do them calmly, calm waves, not crashing. And we have our, of course, our zigzag line. And then I could come back over here and I could put some dots, some more dots in between here, right? Because it just kind of gives it, like, if you just leave it just curly, to me, it's a little boring. So we want to make it look really good, okay? So I put curly lines over here and I put some dots in there. Now, what's another one maybe we could use? Oh, you know what? We could do some shapes. What about some triangles? Okay, so I could do some triangles. I'll do like 2 here and 1 here. So these are patterns we're making. You know, patterns repeat themselves. You guys should know how to make a pattern and what a pattern is now. Okay, so this is, we're making these patterns. And then, again, we can add dots, right, in here. Make it more interesting. Get our patterns really looking like they kind of go together, and yet they're different. Pretty cool, huh? And then maybe this one, we could do some curved lines, all right? Like a rainbow curve, okay, like this. We did our other curved line sideways when we were making our pumpkin. This one we'll do this way, okay? And then in here, I could put some more dots. Maybe a dot and a square. A dot, square. A dot, a square. A dot, a square. A dot. Okay? Then I can go back in and I can fill these squares in with my black also. And if you don't have a black marker, like I said, you can use, sorry, you can use a black crayon. All right, and then for our last one, I think I'll do some wavy lines. Wavy lines, not like, you know, but peaceful waves like this. Peaceful waves, okay? Peaceful, just right across. Now, what do I want to put in here? How about some little hearts? I could put some little hearts in here, right? some little hearts. All right. Okay. Now, I'm going to put a heart 1 and 2 and 1 and 2. How about that? So I made my pattern. Like I said, you do not have to do yours exactly like mine. You can do yours differently if you want to. You could be putting diamonds instead of hearts if you want to. Okay? It's entirely up to you. And also, our coloring is going to be something very specific. Okay? I am going to put on the in the lesson, there's going to be, whoops, I should have had 2 here, huh? I lost my count. Okay. In my in your lesson, I'm going to put a picture of a color wheel. Okay? Now, I know that we did a color wheel. I'm going to use a curly line out here. I know we did a color wheel, but we did the color wheel using only primary and secondary colors. This time, this color wheel is going to have the primary and secondary colors, but it's also going to have the other colors that are in an actual color wheel. Well, when you look at a color wheel, you have, you know, your red, blue, and yellow, your primary, and then you have your orange, green, and purple, your secondary. But in between each one is another color. So you're going to pick 3 colors that are together. So let's say if you chose, I chose orange, okay? So I have a red orange, and then I have a yellow orange. Like my orange, I think this is my orange. No, that's my yellow orange. And this is my orange, and this is my red orange. Now, if I had all my color wheel here, my crayon set up, I would have a red here, right? And then I would have a red blue or blue red and a blue, okay? And then a blue green and a green, and then a yellow green and a yellow. And then, so do you understand what I'm saying? So you're going to use 3 colors that are, they're kind of similar, but they're not the same colors, okay? So that's what I did on here. It probably doesn't look like it because I notice on the screen it looks more, it's like I have a red orange, and then I have an orange, and I have a yellow orange, but I know on the video it doesn't really look like that, but that's really what I have. Now, you could use green, blue green, and what's the other one? Or the violet, the red violet, and it's up to you. Those are called analogous colors, okay? Or some say it analogous. I've seen it both ways. I've heard it both ways. And that's a hard word. I understand that. But I want you to be aware of the colors, you know, because you have, they're like the same, but they're like different shades of the same color. So that's how I want you to color it in. And once you fill in with your black, if you use a marker or a black crayon, and you go dark with that, once you fill that in, it's really easy because then you're just taking your crayons and you're going right over it. If you have a marker, that's obviously the easiest because the crayon might, if you use black crayon, it might spill into the other crayon. So then you'd have to be really careful. But if you use a marker, you can just go right over it and it's really easy. So anyways, that is our Yayoi Kusama pumpkin, okay? I want you to put whatever you want down here. On this one, I put leaves down here. You can put leaves if you want to. You can put grass. If you want to put something in the background, you can. This is the stem from the pumpkin. You can color that in, whatever color you want. But over here, I want you to use 3 colors that are close to the each other on the color wheel. Okay, and I'm putting a picture. I don't have a picture here at home with me of a color wheel. They're in my classroom, unfortunately, but I will put a picture up there of a color wheel so you can see it. All right, boys and girls, I really hope that you enjoy this lesson. Sorry about that. I hope you enjoy this lesson. And I really hope that you learned something about that artist, because she's an artist that's still living today. And we don't, we forget that there's a lot of artists that are kind of famous that are still living today. We kind of forget that. So anyways, boys and girls, if no one has told you, you are amazing and you are loved, and I will be talking to you soon. Bye for now.